Good evening, everybody. For any of you who don't know, this is Ed Carter. I recognize almost all of you, but I'm not sure if Robbie's just here from earlier today or he came for the webinar tonight. I won't cancel on you, but with this small of a group, it's going to be a very fast evening. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the only thing that I had on the agenda tonight. I had some people tell me they wanted to ask questions and show up and ask how to set things up, but they're not here. So I'm going to open the floor up for questions. If anybody has a specific piece of the program they want me to go over, I will. Other than that, we'll plan out a few trades that I picked. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So first off, does anybody have any questions that they would like answered? Okay. Well, this may be a very quick evening then. Let's try this. Is there any particular piece of the program that anybody is unsure of or wants some help with? Again, nothing. I see somebody typing here. I'll hold on. Well, Malcolm, I guess the best way to describe it is the scans that are built into Trader Vision are snapshot scans. So anytime you run them, they will run against the universe you want to run them against, and they will give you the snapshot based on a daily candle. The new LTA, or live trading alerts, a separate program altogether. It will start out with all of these scans built in, and we'll add to it over time. But the basic concept is that you can run these scans against daily, hourly, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, whatever you want to run it against, time frame, and then get alerts based on any other time frame. So I guess I'll just give you an idea here. The market's closed, so I'm not going to have any data, but basically you would be able to run the scan of your choice against some universe or against all universes, and you can scan in multiple time frames and then have it automatically rescan every whatever. Automatically rescan every 15 minutes or what have you, and then give you alerts based on those results. So out of all the morning stars, now I want to know, of those that are morning stars, which are giving me a new day high, or which are giving me a new 5-minute high, or a new 1-minute high. It depends on your time frame or what you're trading. Or maybe a new low, or just showing abnormal volume versus average, because one of the options is to scan based on what Rick calls it normalized volume, but basically the volume so far today versus that same time frame over the last 10 days. So if it's at 10 a.m., the volume as of 10 a.m. today versus the volume versus 10 a.m. on the last 10 days. So you can get alerts on any of those, highs, lows, or unusual volume, and you can filter them down. So I only want things that are really unusual volume, like greater than 2, or I want only stocks that are, whatever scan I chose, plus they are between $5 and $25, or whatever you want to choose it to be. And then these things will run all day long and tell you what's moving. And you can use this different ways. Rick likes to have, he'll take all the positions he holds and put them on one list. Actually, he puts them on 2 lists. One is giving him a new high for the day, and one's giving him a new low for the day. And so he knows at a glance, without going through a bunch of charts, which of his positions are falling out of bed or which of his positions are taking off, and it just gives him a chance to stay on top of things a little bit tighter. So that's the basic idea and how it differs from what we have with Trader Vision. Okay, if that's it, that's great. We'll make this a very quick evening. Let's look at some charts here, and I'll plan a few trades. I picked out a bunch of tickers here, but let's just look at a few of them. KEM, Comet Corp. I don't know what they do in technology, but they're putting in a J hook here. By the way, I've already vetted these. None of these have earnings for the next 3 weeks or so. Putting in a J hook, looking to move further, and you can see potential places where we've got resistance above. That's basically what I've picked out here. I use weekly to assign my support and resistance levels. That's a pretty decent one. HIB, it's got a Morningstar type here, or a bull engulf of a spinning top type if you prefer that, in a rounded bottom breakout. It's got a couple positions here to move on. ON, similar thing, rounded bottom breakout, doing a J hook, got a clearly defined breakout level that gives us a couple good moves. OFG, working on a basically a bullish engulf of a doji to break out of a consolidation. It's not really a J hook, but it's a consolidation, and fairly well defined support and resistance above. Experian, a bull engulf, barely a rounded bottom breakout. It pulled back towards the end of the day, but it's got a couple nicely defined areas. VGR, I guess they're in tobacco. Nice little doji continuation signal here, breaking into around a bottom breakout. WEDF, let's try that again. Almost, I think it's within a couple pennies. Let's see, it opened at 88, and we closed at 88. So it is a bull engulf of a doji here. Again, breaking out into a rounded bottom breakout. And then the last one is Extreme, doing a little flag here and a rounded bottom breakout. Any of those strike any of your fancies? Does anybody like any one of those better than any of the others? Okay, everybody's had dinner and settled down. Okay, let's look at some that have a signal here. So let's look at HIB. If I was to plan this out here, I would drop in my breakout probably right about where probably would look something like that. We'll be lucky to get 1.5 to 1 on this first target, so that might not work. Let's look. 1779. Yeah, that's not going to work, but let's try it anyway. Let's call that 1940. $18.71. You like KLM better? You mean KEM? Probably. That would be my breakout level, and there's my two targets. I guess I can plan this. Let's see if I can't make it so that we can both see the chart and see Trader Vision. Can you guys see that? Uh-oh. Okay, well, we've got 4 bullish and 2 bearish. This thing reported the end of October, so we have plenty of time left. Let's look for a couple exit position here. So let's call it a 2340 entry. I would probably stick my stop someplace below this 2232 level off of the weekly. Actually, I might pull that up a little bit. Did I make that off of 8-day? I'm not sure where I drew these lines. There we go. Okay, that's where I drew those lines. Way back then. Okay. So I'm going to call that 22.15. So let's put the stop in about, what, 22 bucks. With the first target up here about 24.80. And the second target up there around 26.75. Let's just try 100 shares so we have a number to work with here. We sell half at that first target. Wow, 1-to-1. We're going to have to move the stop up on this thing to make it work. 2060. That doesn't seem right. This is throwing it off. I guess if we've waited till this for our... I guess we could do that. So let's make the entry something more like 2305. See what that does for us. It's not going to help a lot. It might help some. And 1 2/3. If we're breaking out there, what did I say? 22 bucks. That's about 3.5%. We could probably move that up to 22.25. That's going to get us our 2-to-1. Small position, very small stop risk there, but that may be too tight. $85 of risk can get us 3.2 to 1. Doesn't quite make the goals for this this account, but your account may be completely different than this. So that's one that you can look at. KEM. Just you have to see what you're. I'm going to be looking for a doji continuation is what I'm looking for here to break out of that J hook. Looking for an entry basically right there above 23 bucks. I would prefer to have my stop down here about 22.10 or 15, but we'll have to cheat it up a little bit to make this work. So that's what we've got. Do with it as you will. That's about 6%. %, stop. That may or may not work. Probably won't. Let's look at Extreme here. That's what I want. That looks like a pretty good plan there. So Extreme still showing a lot of negativity here because it hasn't caught up with it. The market's still bearish, hasn't flipped over. And the symbol is still bearish, it hasn't flipped over as well. I can live past that. We've got the flag working for us. We got the rounded bottom breakout. Let's say that we've got a 680 entry and 645 stop with a 780 first target and an 845 second target. Let's look at 400 shares. Close enough. If we sold 200 shares at that first target, we get almost 3 to 1. That's very nice. If we even sold the whole position there, we'd make $400, which is well more than the goal for this account. But if we can hold on to the rest of it and fill out that rounded bottom breakout up to the 200, that would give us a very nice 3.8 to 1 and a chance to pick up $530. So I would say Extreme is one to keep an eye on here on that flag, looking for the breakout here. That could be a runner. Let's just see how that works out with fibs, if that matches up to anything. Yeah, that one matches fairly tightly there. So that would be a pretty good target. You're going to have a couple different groups of traders looking at that level. The ones that picked out the resistance up here, and the ones who are watching that fib line. So Extreme is one you can add to your list. Let's try and okay, again, it's going to be it's the same trade. I trade the same patterns over and over and over again. I'm probably going to have this up in here at that point. And let's play that on. This one's a little bit better. We got the 4 bullish and just 2 bearish on that. Of course, the market and symbol bias is not flipped over. Let's say we've got an entry at 18. I don't know, 85, 86, whatever. And a stop down here about 18.20. With a first target up here at 20.25. And that second target up there about 21, 60. Let's just look at a couple hundred shares. Wow, it's still too big. Close enough. With these levels that I had set, we can get 2 to 1, about 2.15 to 1. Make 210 bucks if we had to clear the whole position at that first target. Less than $100 of risk of being stopped out. And if we can sell half and hold on to the rest, nice little 14.5% trade to that second half, which gives us well over a 3 to 1, almost 3.2 to 1. And so again, I think that's a pretty good trade for you to keep an eye on. It doesn't quite make the goals of this trade, but again, of this account. But again, your account may vary. Whatever your goal is, 3 to 1 is pretty decent. I guess we'll do one more. Does anybody have? Let's see. We did Chem. We did On. We did Extreme. Any of these others excite anybody? It's only 5.8%, 11%. Boeing, okay. What do you like about Boeing? Well, first of all, this is not going to work as a stock trade for this particular account. I can trade it. I can plan it out for you if you'd like. I don't see a bell hold. Were you thinking this is a bell hold right here on the 30th? Yeah, no, a bell hold has to be multiple times the size of the most recent candles. And with that big black candle the day before, that ruins things. The whole idea of a bell hold, I don't think there were any today, but let me just check, see if I can get an example. Some of these tiny ones. Okay, here's an example. Forget about the lack of liquidity. But you can just tell by the candle. Look at the relative size of the recent candles and then the size of this one. We had a gap down that was several times more than the recent daily range. And the bulls immediately drove it back up into the trading range. That's the definition of a bell hold. So that's a much better picture for you there. It's what? So this is that was a 9.5% day, and we're looking at 3.5%, 1.5%, 1.5%. 3%, 3.5%. So it was 2 to 3 times as big as any of them. So that's what a belt hold is. So I don't see any signal there. That doesn't mean it's not a good trade. I guess I would look at a weekly, see if I can't find a level here. It sure looks like we're right into resistance to me. Does that look like a resistance level to you? If you pop through that, you've got probably all-time highs there. Yeah, all-time highs. But if you pop through this level here, so someplace around 374, 75, you're probably going to be using options anyway with a price this high. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to trade it as a stock, or to plan it out as a stock. But yeah, SGMS was on my list as well that I looked at. I'm not interested in chasing, but this is a bull kicker. Today it was on earnings. I'm pretty sure it was report before the bell. Yeah, that's the problem. Let's look at that. So that is clearly the resistance level that it bounced into and fell down off of today. So I would like to see not just a pullback, I'd like to see consolidation. If I get a pullback, I want it to come clear back to this next support level, because I don't want to buy close to resistance. I want to buy close to support. So ideally, and the reason it wasn't on my short list tonight, is I don't want to chase this run. I need to see, let's just draw a box. I need to see some nice consolidation. That line is too fat. How do I make it width? Let's make it half that size. I'd like to see a nice consolidation right in here. And if you get that, then you can plan it out. Let's just assume that we got that, and we could get in someplace right above this level, out in here. You know, so it's going to be 2-3 days, who knows. At that point, we're probably going to have a stop something like this. Again, this will have proven to be support. That's the only time I'm going to take this trade. So I can plan this out and then just not take it. If it doesn't do exactly what I want, I'll let it go and chase something else. We might even go more than 2 targets on this, because it reported, like I said, this morning. And I would probably look at least 3 targets on that. Let's just do a quick trade plan on it, see if it is worth a darn. SGMS. Yeah, it reported 8-1, but it also reported this morning. So 11-8. Let's do this. So let's just say, for argument's sake, I get in about 27.20. And for argument's sake, I'm going to have a stop around, I don't know, 26. Oh. 60. I don't know. A first target about 29. I'll just use the numbers that are there, 29.30 and 32.15 and 34.30. It's going to be too big, way too big for this account. Let's just do 210. I don't care if it's too big. I just want something easily divides by 3 at this time of night. So if I forget my numbers right. Let's make that 26.40. I saw that wrong. We get about 2.5 to 1, 2.6 to 1 on that first target. But this is going to be a longer term swing. It's not going to be a short term thing with 3 months to work with. We're going to get over 4 to 1 on that second swing. And that third swing is going to be up near 6 to 1. So that's what I would be looking at. If I got a pullback actually. I would want it to pull back down here close to the 50, and I would be looking to move my stop down below the 50 and my entry here just above the 50, if that in fact is what happened. So that's how I would look at SGMS. I see Scott typing. Okay, thanks. I guess let's do one more and call it a night. Yeah, it's almost 6%, and it's at all-time highs, I'm pretty sure. There's 8-day. Yeah, that's the all-time highs out here. No, it's not. I'm sorry. Right in there. Well, I don't know. I guess I'd put it right in this area. That was not quite a signal. It was close to, but not quite. But nonetheless, let's plan that out. It's not giving us a lot of love here. 2 bullish and 3 bearish conditions. I can look past the long-term market bias. Okay, we've got a little swale in the 50. That's what's causing the long-term symbol bias to be down. And that short-term bias has really flipped. So I can see both of those really being green. So let's plan this as 1 entry and 2 exits. If I entered here on above the high, let's call that 1790. And I put my stop in probably right around in this area. Let's call it 17 bucks. First target's up there about 18.95. Second target's up there at 20.25. Let's do 150 shares. If we sold 75 with that first target, wow. My eyeballs must be completely wrong. It's about 4.5%. It's about 6%. Should be at least 1.5 to 1. 1790. Maybe that's what it was. But still, math should be right. 1780, 17 bucks, 18.95. 80 cents. $1.05. Yeah. I guess this one just won't work out. I'm not willing to squeeze it much more than that. So this one probably doesn't trade. Okay, guys, sorry about that, but that one's probably not going to work out. Let's take that one off the list. I'm not really in love with any of these others, just because there is resistance too close. I might move that up a touch. Might actually move this one down a touch. We can look at this doji continuation. If you got in right at the close, nah, I'm not even going to mess with it. It doesn't even give you 5% to the first target. So chart looked decent from the quick look, but it just doesn't plan out. Okay, guys, let's call this good enough for tonight. Again, I'll give you one more chance. If there's any questions, please let me know. Oh, thank you, guys. If anybody needs to get a hold of me, you can always reach me by email or see me in the trading room, ed@tradervision2020.com. And I guess that's it. I want to thank you for showing up tonight. Everybody have a great evening and have a great Friday. Take care.